Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2024, with me, Quacksilver, here, as we continue our horror block. In that break, I checked under my chair for monsters, I saw what was spooking my cat, and I dealt with the shadow just beyond my window. But this isn't about me, this is about our next amazing runner. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Parasite Eve 2, Replay Mode Any Percent by Miss Scarlet Tanager. Take it away.
Hello everyone. As said, I am Miss Scarlet Tanager, and we're going to be playing Parasite Eve 2. We're going to be playing the PS1 version on the PS2, so we're playing it from the disc, which is strangely enough 10 minutes faster than the digital version. I don't know why, but we're just going to go straight in. And before we start, Threach, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I am Threach. I am the biggest baby in the history of the world when it comes to horror games. This is a terrible matchup, and I'm so excited to watch Miss Scarlet Tanager crush this run. I hope everyone else is ready.
So a little bit about the mode. This is new. Essentially, it's a New Game Plus. In New Game Plus, you have 4 different categories that you can do. Each have their own different things. Replay mode is sort of the easiest mode, and you have the access to most things. It's a little bit more marathon safe because of this. I personally like bounty mode because it's fun and you still get to have some of the New Game Plus stuff. But one very important thing before we start. So anyone who knows me and my stream knows that I am the mother to 2 adorable little baby bunnies. Here they are. Everyone say hello to them. The white one is Tally, the gray one is Garrus. And yes, I have the ability to switch my camera between the 2 cameras. And just so you guys know, you see them now, you love them, they're adorable, they have toys, and guess what? No more bunnies for you guys. Y'all don't get no bunnies if y'all don't donate. So if I hear, enough donations happening where we get a little bit of a lull, and I'm like, oh, hey, do we got any donations? If we do have those donations, y'all get bunnies. No donations? No bunnies. Alrighty then, so let's get started. Timing's gonna start as soon as I hit the replay mode button in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we're just gonna go straight into this, skipping all of the cutscenes, so, because thankfully this game actually lets you skip. Mulligan on that. I accidentally just hit the wrong button, which would have caused us to lose like a minute worth of time. Don't worry about restarting the timer. It'll only take me a second. At the very beginning of the game, you're given the option to either redo this weird tutorial minigame or, there we go, or skip it. I accidentally hit the button twice and accidentally started the silly minigame again. All right, so I'm gonna hit the right button this time. And we are playing as Aya Brea. If anybody knows the first game, the first Parasite Eve game, which was acclaimed for being awesome, which it is, this game, however, changes almost everything with regards to gameplay. The first game was a horror RPG, sort of like your Kadelkas and your Shadow Hearts. This game, however, is a Resident Evil clone. So instead of being a quasi-JRPG horror, it's much more, you got your tank controls and everything. So we're going to start off with replay mode stuff, which is going in here and buying our extremely overpowered stuff. Yes, that is a gunblade, and yes, it is actually the gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII. Except it's a shotgun instead of a pistol.
What is a late 90s Square RPG without a gunblade, honestly?
I know, right? Oh, that's the wrong thing. All right, apobiosis. I'm going to get healing for safety and energy shot. Okay, that should be everything that we need for pretty much all of the game. So we're going to immediately equip the gunblade, and we're going to use, I don't know why I picked a pyrokinesis there, I didn't mean to, but there we go. We're just going to take all of these, and that is all of the PE or parasite energies that we need in the game. Those are essentially Aya's magic spells. And we're just going to talk to Pierce over here, who is my favorite character in this game. Sadly, y'all ain't going to see him because guess what? This is any percent. And any percent, unfortunate things happen to Pierce.
Oh no, Pierce. We hardly knew you.
We are going to be adding, theoretically, a category that saves Pierce because there is multiple endings to this game. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. There's like the good ending, the bad ending, and like the normal ending, or the true ending. The best ending in the game rescues Pierce on 2 separate occasions. I believe 2 or 3. Sadly, that's slow. In fact, significantly slow. It's like 20 minutes slower to save Pierce. So we don't do it during the speedrun. We're going to be getting the bad ending, which is hilarious because if y'all watch my streams over at twitch.com/Scarlet Tanager, you would know I severely dislike the character of Kyle, which you will be seeing later. Kyle is all over the place in the bad ending. You barely interact with him in the other endings, but he's all over this one. Alright, so we're going into the spooky Acropolis Tower. We are a member of MIST, which is an FBI special task force whose entire job is to hunt monsters. Specifically, monsters that mutated and escaped from the New York City blockade incident that happened during the first game. Now, first they sent up a whole bunch of LAPD SWAT, and then they lost contact with them. And in that last room over there, all of that red raspberry jam that you saw all over those blue uniformed men, yeah, don't worry about them. They're just sleeping. They're fine.
Just having a good old nap.
They're just having a nap.
Look at that.
Yeah,
they're very comfy.
So yeah, they're just having a nap, and they just had too much raspberry jam. But yes. And also, by the way, just as a reminder, there are bunnies!
Wow.
Don't worry about it.
I can't explain that. I'm not going to worry about it, I think.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Just a quick jam nap.
Yep. They're just wrestling. They're having fun.
Now that looks like a very friendly guy
All right,
about to come give you a hug.
Yes, this is a quick time save, so I'm going to go immediately to the left instead of going forward to trigger the cutscene. Weirdly enough, the trigger for the cutscene is right there. So that lady that we just saw for a split second turned into a monster, and we're just gonna, bam, one shot. That was the first boss. Welcome to replay mode. Just gonna take
so
this
far,
metallic
scene
implant.
for scene, this is exactly Final Fantasy VIII. like cut for cut. This is the beginning cutscene.
Alrighty, so we got some monsters here. We're just gonna run past them. So we're gonna have to go and call our bosses and go, hey, bosses, everything's messed up here. Can I get some help? And they're gonna be like, no, keep going. So we have a little bit of time for maybe 2 or 3 donations. We got any?
I would love to share with the people. The gauntlet's been thrown down. I don't know about you, but speaking as one half of the extremely ill-equipped for horror couch that's up here, bunnies would be the shot of energy that I need. I also would love to point out that we have just opened up a choose Emily's costume in Alone in the Dark bid war to go along with our Black Goat ending incentive. So all sorts of things you can get those donations in towards, not the least of which is an adorable pair of bunny rabbits. You know what lies in front of you, chat.
They are very, very cute. So we just managed to unlock this little door here, and there's a little bunch of rats. They're not as cute as the bunnies. We're just gonna take this blue key. Aw, darn it. It's pretty much RNG whether or not you get hit in that room. Usually I do, but I got the healing magic or parasite energy, so if we need to heal, we can. So we're gonna use this key to open up another door, because all I is trying to do is figure out who's causing these monsters to appear in the middle of an LA skyscraper. I can talk. And so she's just been told, yeah, just keep going up the skyscraper full of monsters and people sleeping with raspberry jam all over their faces. I'm sure it's fine. And
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So for those who don't know, Aya Brea, this character that I'm playing as, is the protagonist of the first game as well. And in the first game, you found out that she had special magic mitochondria powers that let her set things on fire. In this game, that makes her really good at hunting the things that cause the mitochondrial mutated creatures, which are these things that are currently that is a wall, Aya, that are currently chasing me. There we go. So those monsters are humans, actually. At one point, they were humans. Then they got special mitochondria juice injected into their spine or something, and they turned into monsters. Like you do.
The scientific background on this is simply incredible. I remember learning about this kind of mutation being possible when I took biology in 9th grade. I really appreciate that they were so consistent in this game when they came out with it.
So, funny story. This game is actually a licensed game, for those who don't know. So was the first one. This game is a sequel to Parasite Eve 1, the game, which is itself a sequel to Parasite Eve, the book/movie. It was, in fact, a book that was later made into a movie. You can actually find it with English subtitles, I believe, in its entirety on YouTube, which is pretty neat. It's actually pretty good. In my opinion, it's a pretty good schlocky horror film. But the book is wild. It has an entire section of the book that's almost a complete manual on how to do a liver transplant. Because
my gosh.
I'm not kidding. Because the guy who wrote it was, I believe the guy who wrote it is a microbiologist. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
You know, when science doesn't pay the bills, go into authoring, which I've heard is particularly lucrative.
All right, so
That's
we got the second boss, so blink and you'll miss it. Oh, I missed. Or I'll miss. There we go. And he's dead. Well, not dead. He ran off. Yeah, that is number 9. So if you notice, number 9 had a gunblade. So we are, in fact, actually using that enemy's gunblade because it is an unlockable item you can get. And the gunblade is straight up Squall's gunblade model from Final Fantasy VIII, except for the fact that they have a big cartridge on it for shotgun shells instead of pistol rounds.
Okay, so the first one was ciphers. So honestly, like Ultimisia shows up, it's fine. You know what? We're not here for the plot.
Don't worry about it, it's fine. So what I'm skipping here is a whole bunch of cutscenes. We got to the very top of the Acropolis Tower. We confronted number 9, who were like, why did you do this? Why did you infect all these people? Blah, 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 blah. And then he blew up the building. Like you do.
Did that headline just say aliens ate my spaghetti?
Wait, which one is Search More?
Oh my gosh.
Manual? No. Actually, it did, but I skipped it, so.
Amazing.
Yes, it, essentially what this is, part of MIST, so Aya's job at the FBI, is to go hunt down these creatures. So whenever they get a tip about a creature sighting, what they have to do is go investigate it. And they are currently getting a tip that, I'm trying to focus here a bit, that there was some creature sightings over in the Mojave Desert in Nevada. And Aya's like, really, like, it's just cows and stuff. Are you going to send me out in the middle of nowhere? And her boss is like, yes, I'm absolutely going to send you out into the middle of nowhere. So she goes out into the middle of nowhere, fully expecting absolutely nothing to happen. Turns out everything happens, like you do. All right, so what I'm doing here is just attaching a bunch of items to Aya's uniform. So whatever armor you're wearing, it has a number of pretty much attachment slots that you can attach items onto, because when you are in combat, you can't go into the regular inventory, but you can use items that are attached to your armor, which is really your only way of using items during combat.
It's kind of an interesting mechanic. I guess, sure, I can see that.
It can screw you over, though, because if you run out of ammunition and you don't have either another weapon or another ammunition type attached to your armor, you either have to use all of your parasite energy, so your magic, in order to get through the fight, or you have to just run away. Which you're going to be doing a lot of, by the way, because fighting fights is slow. Like right now, I'm just going to watch this horse hit a wall. This is fine.
The word horse is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
They're called chasers, is what the enemy's called. But
that's like a horse adjacent at best.
Horse with a human face. All right, so we're just gonna do some car puzzle shenanigans where we lift the car, we bring the car back down in order to try and get through that little caution shutter over there. So if you have any donations, that would be a time.
I am first of all, I have to say I'm completely here for the expansive definitions of horse, but I am also delighted to report that I have a $25 donation here from Scarlet Kitty, who says, I am here to forfeit all worldly possessions to the bunnies.
To the bunnies.
The bunnies.
Right, to the bunnies.
There they are.
Oh, they're so cozy. They're flopped. They're so cozy. Oh my gosh. What a darling.
You want to know what would make them not cozy? Yeet.
Oh,
The treats or the toys? One of them has been summoned.
It's both. That particular one has both treats and toys in it. Oh, that's the wrong way. I know what I'm doing. All right, so we just finished the puzzle. And yes, you guys can have the bunnies up for a little bit as Tally tries to get into her treat and fails terribly.
Oh, so Tally, you're doing such a good job.
She's trying so hard. Alrighty then. So we just met Douglas. Douglas is good people. We like Douglas. He gave us a key. So now we're going to meet the character we don't like, aka Kyle. Kyle is a rude boy. Kyle is ostensibly a journalist researching the monster sightings. He's not that, not really. He's a dirty spy.
Kyle.
Kyle is like a triple agent. He's like a spy that spied on a spy for...
Kyle's not even sure what he's doing anymore.
Yeah, Kyle's not even sure whose allegiance he is. Cause he's like,
I lost the plot.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm a good guy, except I'm a spy for the bad guys. Except I'm a spy on the bad guys for the good guys. Except I'm a spy on the good guys for... I mean, it's like Kyle has no idea what Kyle is.
Garrus has decided to hop and see what's going on, and Tally has no interest in sharing. It's like the bunny play-by-play.
Yes, Tally is like, this is my treat, Garrus. You cannot have. Though, funny story, every time I try and give Garrus a treat, I have to specifically push Tally's head away because she keeps stealing it from his mouth. She will pull them.
Always one.
She will pull it out of his mouth. So what I'm doing right now is we're trying to get into the water tower there, but the water tower is locked up. The water tower is covered by chasers for some reason. So what I'm going to do here is, you saw me use some of the combustion PE, and I'm going to use another one right about here, I believe. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm using this in specific spots because if you go through the scene transition or the camera transition there, then Aya will just... Are they close enough? They are. Okay, good. Aya will get hit by one of them. They'll just run into her. I did that too early. This is fine. Okay. So we killed all the chasers. Yay! Can I get it? Oh, I didn't get to it. Okay. There's a little bit of a somewhat glitch you can do if you get to the ladder in time. It'll tell you that you ran away from the combat instead of actually finishing the fight, even though you absolutely just finished the fight. But I've only managed to pull it off once. Alright, so we just met Kyle. Kyle's rude, so we skipped his cutscene because we don't like Kyle. And now we're just going to pick up this key from this guy who's taking a nap. Oh, I didn't mean to pick that up. Oh, well. Alright. He's just taking a nap. He's chilling.
He's just sleeping.
He's eepy. He's eepy and he's having a nap on the water tower. Totally isn't the fact that he got stuck up here and was too scared to come down and dehydrated himself.
No, he just that's very close. So if he needs a drink, he's got a whole water tower there. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. He's having a nap. The bunnies are having snacks. It's fine.
Honestly, that kind of sounds like my ideal day. Have a nap, have some snacks. Also, look at Bunny. What a treat.
Everybody loves the bunnies.
We love bunnies. We love raising money for charity. It's a great time.
Yes. Also, if you notice the product placement that just happened on screen, for those who don't know, and by the way, you guys have lost bunny privileges, get wrecked. You guys got the bunnies for a bit. This game comes from the the time during Square Enix's whole shtick when they inexplicably were having a promotion with Coca-Cola. If y'all remember that was when we got the Final Fantasy IX Coca-Cola ad, the pretty infamous one. And for some reason, it extended to this game. So you're going to find Coca-Cola stuff everywhere.
I feel like you just woke me up from a fever dream. I had completely put that out of my head, and then I was like, yeah, you're right. There was a Final Fantasy IX Coke ad. What?
Yep. Not only was there a Final Fantasy IX Coca-Cola ad, there was a Final Fantasy IX Coca-Cola ad that got its own music that doesn't actually appear in the game. It has its own soundtrack.
For them.
It's hilarious. Alright, so we got these enemies in here. We don't want these enemies in here, but it's a little inopportune to kill them now. We're going to kill them when we come back into the room. So, everybody likes bunnies. Now we're going to introduce you to Puppy! This is Flint.
Flint!
Flint is a good boy.
I love you, Flint.
Flint is a good boy, and guess what? Flint's gonna live, don't worry about it. It turns out...
Gosh, I just had a whole emotional moment. I was not ready.
It turns out... because you can, Flint can die during one of the boss fights later. But it is, in fact, faster on every version of the game, even on New Game, and even on Nightmare. Every version of the game, it is significantly faster to save the dog. So Flint gets to live.
Yes.
Yeah, it only affects your ending if you do something else later on, which we're not going to do, because it's slow. So it doesn't actually affect your ending right now when you save the dog initially. And don't worry, he's not going to die later or anything. It's just we don't use him to help us out later when the game gives us the option to. Alright, so we're coming back through here. I'm going to immediately do a combustion. Take out all the enemies at once. Now I gotta wait. Because you have to wait for the combat to actually complete. Alright, and that there was experience points and bonus points. You can spend experience points when you're playing the game on upgrades to Aya's Parasite energy abilities. And you can spend the bounty points on shops. So it's essentially money. Oh, that's the wrong one. But the thing is, because we're playing on replay mode, we have access to a whole bunch of bonus of both. So we just don't care. We already bought everything we needed at the beginning of the game. Funnily enough, even on the other difficulty settings, even on Scavenger and Bounty, if I remember correctly, a lot of the purchasing happens in the beginning of the game, because even though you don't have as many extra bonus points or experience points as you do on replay mode, you still have enough, especially when you have a save that's made for that, to get away with pretty much buying everything in the beginning.
That's very handy, I imagine, for a speedrun.
The downside is Nightmare. Freaking Nightmare. Nightmare is absolutely not marathon safe. Because you start with 0 experience points, 0 bonus PP. You start at permanent half health, so instead of 100 HP, you have 50. You have nerfed magic points, or mitochondria points. Everything does either double or triple damage, I can't remember which. And almost every enemy spawn has been replaced with late game enemies.
I like to imagine that in Nightmare mode, you also have to, like, play with Kyle and, like, I don't know, save Kyle. Like, he just has to figure in a little bit more.
Oh my god, please no. Please no. We don't like Kyle. This is a no Kyle zone.
It's definitely a Flint zone, though. There is a lot of love for Flint in chat.
Yes.
Chat, I would love to see what if you have pets, let us know what your pet names are. You can donate and let us know what your pet names are. ! Donate in chat, get you the link for it. Let us know so Quack can read off those names.
Yes.
That sounds absolutely ideal. And if you have a second, speaking of pet-related donations,
yes, we're gonna be running back all the way back to Douglas, so you have a minute for a fair few donations.
Perfect. I have $10 here from Anonymous, who says, "Give us more bunnies and give the bunnies a gun blade." Thoughts?
What? Suddenly bunnies.
Suddenly bunnies. Do you think your bunnies would do well with a gun blade, with access to that kind of power?
They don't have opposable thumbs.
Oh, don't let that stop them. Would it be a bun blade?
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh.
I'm not sorry.
That knocked the wind out of me. I also have $25 here from Zokubun, who says, bunnies are the powerhouse of the charity-thon.
Excellent.
We're getting old school with it. I love it. I love it. With those kind donations to CARE, we have crept up to $325 raised out of $500 for the Black Goat ending in Alone in the Dark. So while I do not suspect that would make a good pet, it is still on animal theme. So be sure to keep those donations coming in. Let us know about your pets. Let us know how they do with a gun blade.
I have a tiny little dog. His name is Adam. He is not very smart and he is kind of blind in one eye, but he's my sweet little man and would never raise a weapon, and so therefore would do very poorly with a gun blade.
I have, as you can see, Garrus. Garrus is the gray one, by the way, the gray lopbeard, and Tally is the white one. She's called a Rhinelander. That's her breed. Garrus is a mutt. He has no breed. But I also have, who are not on screen, and if you guys do good, maybe I'll show them at the end of the run. I have 2 chinchillas as well. They are also very cute. And I'm not above using my pets to get people to donate to charity. Obviously.
Do the rabbits and the chinchillas interact? And if so, do they get along?
Yes and no. Sometimes,
Fair.
yeah, sometimes I'll let the chinchillas out so they can just run around and, you know, stretch their legs a little bit more. Their enclosure is massive. It's taller than me, but I let them stretch their legs out occasionally when I'm cleaning the cage and such. However, I have to keep an eye on them because Tally does not like them. Specifically.
Oh, Tally.
Yeah, specifically. Garrus is fine. Tally's just like, get out of my turf. Because she's kind of a bit of a high-strung bunny who likes to eat spicy noodles and terrorize everyone.
What a champion. She's just a lady who knows what she wants.
Pretty much. She does
I
have
love that
dainty
for
little
her.
bunny paws. It's cute. Alright, we're about to get into our next fight. So the problem with this fight is my overpowered weapon will only work when it hits him in the back. On his back hitbox specifically. His front hitbox takes almost no damage. So let's see if I can get it. Yes! Okay. One shot.
Nice.
Did it. That's actually really, really hard because there's a camera transition right there. So you have to go behind him enough that you'll hit the back hitbox without hitting the front hitbox. Also, look, the bunnies are cuddling.
Oh.
And you know what that means?
Yeah,
You know what cuddling bunnies mean? Adorable cuddling bunnies? No bunnies for you.
Wow. Honestly, wow. Wow.
Correct.
I can't believe you've done this. Everyone's going to have to donate to... I am inconsolable right now. The only way that this is going to be helped is more bunnies. You all want to see more bunnies. Come on.
Well, if it sweetens the pot at all, I happen to have a glass jar of raspberries, a glass jar of strawberries, and a glass jar of blueberries. I am not above going to the bunny cam and throwing them at them.
I mean, what could be more tempting? You could see cute bunnies eating berries.
Okay.
It's a dream come true.
Yes.
That's the only jump scare I signed up for.
All right, so what happened right now in the game? So Ayabrea's beloved car just got exploded by gremlins, and I believe that's what that enemy's called. I might be wrong. I just call them gremlins anyway. But her entire car got blown up after she passed out when she had that boss fight with number 9, and number 9 was like, ha ha ha, I know your secret, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh no, my secrets. Oh no, mitochondria. My mitochondria have become over 9,000. And then she combusts him and passes out. But shenanigans are about to occur as I use the correct spell for once. There we go. Half the time I accidentally use combustion there instead of apobiosis, which... So a little bit about the spells in this game. Each one of the spells have slightly different effects. They are based off of elements. So you have your fire spells, your water spells, your air spells, and your earth spells. The healing spells are like both status effect healing and regular healing are water based. You'll only see those if I have to heal, which I think I'm going to at least once. fire-based spells are like your pyrokinesis and your combustion and your inferno, but the only one you're going to be seeing is combustion because it's the only one that's useful and time-saving. Then there is apobiosis, which is useful right there where you saw it, and one other time in this category. It's more useful in other categories. But since we passed out for a few hours, Douglas is a little concerned, and by concerned I mean he points his gun at us. Because he's like, what are you doing here?
It's very rude, Douglas.
Yeah. Douglas is very rude. Of course, he also has an entire wall of weapons. He acts as a shop, essentially, because you can spend BP or bounty points in order to get things at the shop, which is what I did at the beginning of the game. And during a cutscene, he tells you that you're, like, that Pierce, so your friend Pierce over at Mist FBI headquarters, called him and was like, hey, if you let her spend BP on stuff, we'll totally compensate you later. And that's their explanation for why he gets to be a shop.
What is that thing crawling around? You know,
don't worry
actually,
about it.
I don't even know. I don't want to know the answer to that question. Honestly, don't even want to think about it.
It was once a people. So
it's just the worst.
So a little bit of the story of this game. What we're fighting are called ANMCs. That's artificial neomitochondrian creature. As opposed to NMC, neomitochondrian creature, which are the monsters that you came across during the first Parasite Eve game, ones that were made quote-unquote naturally by Eve during the first game. Alright, now we're going to get to the silliest puzzle solution in this game, in my opinion. So the entire way that you're supposed to figure out the code for this little cash register is by subtracting years and ages of, like, Wyatt Earp in the OK Corral. It's a weird puzzle for dealing with the OK Corral, but I already know what the code is, and it's that.
Is the information given to you in the game, or?
Yes, the information is given to you in the game, but the way that you get it is you look on the wall and it tells you like how to figure out the code, sort of, and then you're supposed to go around to different motel rooms in order to get like the dates and the ages and the years and stuff.
That's
and
not
then,
fast.
Yeah, and then do some mathing to figure out what the code is. But I just find it weird because I'm like, why did they use this specifically? I know it's in Nevada, but still. It's just weird that they picked that. Alright, so we're picking up a jerry can because we went and talked to Douglas, and Douglas was like, here, you can use my car. Problem is my car is bad, and I need you to go get a jerry can full of gasoline while I fix the car. Am I gonna make that? Oh, I made the dodge. Okay, cool. So we got the jerry can, now we have to go get the gas. The gasoline is over where our car that just got torn apart. So if you have any donations, we're gonna have to run back there so you can give me a few.
Absolutely. I have $10 here from Duh, who says, Misty, almost 10, is my adorable, almost elderly kitten.
Oh,
let's go. I love seeing pet names come up on this dashboard. Thank you so much. I also have $10 from Anonymous, who says, bring back the cuddling bunnies. Less than 3.
All right. I guess you guys deserve somebody's.
It was the less than 3 at the end that did it for me personally. Thank you so much for that donation.
All right, so some of the crawlers have shown up here. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna wait. There we go. And hit them with a combustion. So the reason why the magic is so powerful is purely because, one, I have some items attached to my armor that make my abilities more powerful, and I also have the ability maxed out. When you purchase the abilities from the store instead of using experience points to level them up, which is a New Game Plus thing only, you instead you can get them at their max capacity, or you get them at the max capacity you had in the previous run through. I can't remember which. But it just makes it so much easier. Like, you can just run through this game when you're playing it on replay mode. It's so nice. And that way you guys can just enjoy the bunnies.
That feels like a very quality of life thing for replay in general, and also to help out the speed run.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna give that to Douglas while I throw strawberries at Tally. Don't worry about it. Garrus doesn't apparently want any strawberries. Alright, so we just got the okay from Douglas. We gave him the gasoline. He's fixing up the car. He said it's going to take a little bit longer, so why don't we go take a nap? Which is what we're going to do. We're going to go take a nap. There's actually a full-on shower scene in this game, but we're going to be skipping it because it's slow. And hopefully, I mean, nothing morally repugnant is going to happen while we're taking a nap. Nothing at all is going to happen, you know, with the dog that's chilling in this specific room. Where nothing bad is going to happen at all. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, the things you've said, I'm convinced.
I also went the wrong way. There's a slightly shorter path you can take, but I was busy talking about bunnies.
You know, there are bunnies on the screen, so really, did you make any mistakes at all?
This is true.
Truly.
Alright, we're taking a nap. Yes, we're skipping hygiene strats to save time. Hygiene is slow. Alright, so we're fighting this massive thing that is currently sitting where the dog is. I'm gonna go here. Okay, good, I missed it. If he baps you that far away, it's extremely rude. Oh, I missed it. 1 and 2. Is that enough? Yes! Excellent. So that is Glutton.
He just shows up outside of your motel?
Yeah, and you have to finish this fight of essentially where I was standing. If you're too far down that walkway, you will, after this scene here, you will appear at the end of that walkway, or on that end of the walkway, which is bad. You want to be on this side of the walkway. It's actually something like 30 seconds of time lost if you're on the other side, because it's a much longer pathway to get to where you need to go. All right. So now that that's happened, if you take, I believe that boss fight has a 3-minute timer on it. I think it's 3 minutes. But, if you take too long on that fight, Glutton will kill Flint, the puppy. Which will lock you, which locks you into, I believe, I think it locks you straight up into the bad ending. It either locks you into the bad ending or locks you into the good plus ending. I can't remember which.
Unacceptable. Tally would never allow that.
That's a door, Aya. There we go. All right, but now Flint has been saved, which we like. We like Flint. But now we have the key, and sadly we have to take the long way to get back to the truck because one of the things that happens during that boss fight is he just messes up your entire groove with getting around this area, and blocks off one of the main paths, one of the short paths to get to the truck. So if you got any donations, we're taking a long way back.
Sure thing. While we take the long way back, I'd actually like to remind everyone about some of our open bid wars, including one for our upcoming Ruiner run for choosing your player, which I bring up because the Cyber Santa option has started to mount a comeback amidst all this love for bunnies, with the options being Kill Bill, Cyber Santa, and Cakehead, which I don't feel like there's a wrong answer on. But, as a reminder, if you're just joining us, for Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2024, you can put your donations to a bid war or a poll and a target incentive at the same time, which is twice the power of a single donation. So, as you're letting us know about your pets, as you're letting us know about your desire to continue seeing these pets on screen, be sure to spread out some of the love across all of the amazing incentives this horror block.
Alrighty then. So this is Kyle. We don't like Kyle. Kyle's rude. So we're about to go to disc 2, which, by the way, this is a multi-disc game.
Disc 2, I mean, I feel like maybe these bunnies have been on screen too long if we're already at the second disc.
This is entirely true. Oh, I almost crushed my disc. Okay, we're fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not breaking discs. What are you talking about?
No.
No bunnies! The bunnies are gone. Get wrecked. Okay. So this is lovingly referred to as lemmings in my splits. There we go. I call it lemmings because that cliff that's to the south of the screen, you can actually get enemies to, I am on the right thing, okay, to fall off the cliff. but it's slow, so we're just going to take him out instead. Really? Okay, it's 3. Okay, 4, 5. Seriously? 6. I'll explain in a second. There we go. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I was counting there because 10 of them will appear, and I want to try and get to this other side by the end of it. Just because it's slightly faster. Alright, so lemmings are done. So Kyle ran off. What happened there is they took the car all the way to this spooky shelter that they found out about. This spooky, like, nuclear war shelter that got taken over by a, guess, pharmaceutical corporation, because it's always a pharmaceutical corporation.
What?
Well, pharmaceutical corporation / doomsday cult. It's complicated.
You know, hand in hand.
Like you do. And we managed to figure out that that's roughly where all of the enemies or all of the neomitochondrial creatures are coming from. So Kyle was like, well, I'll go with you. And Aya, because she doesn't think about how sus this man is, goes, okay, you can come with me. So they take the car over to the mines that the shelter is built into. And then Kyle gets wrecked by those chasers outside when they crash the truck. So Aya tells him to go run into the mines while she fends them off. We're not going to see Kyle for a while. He completely vanishes, and Aya actually thinks he's dead because very shortly we're going to find his gun, like, in the belly of a monster. But I'm sure he's fine, sadly.
Does not suspect his, like, double, triple agentness.
Yeah, no, he's totally on the up and up. Totally fine.
She's not bringing out her best critical thinking, but that's okay, because she does have a gunblade.
She does have a gunblade, this is true. We're going to be using something much, much bigger later, too. But you guys will see that in a bit. Alright, so we got a board, because if you saw a second ago, there was a giant chasm that we need to cross. So we needed to go get Thing to cross it. And now we got the Thing, so we're going to go cross it. Okay. There we go. And coming up here is probably one of the more annoying boss fights in this game. Even on replay, I find it annoying. So I might, instead of doing the fast strat, I might do a slightly slower strat, depending on if he decides to behave. Oh, hey, I actually got through there. So it's completely RNG whether or not you get through there without getting hit. Usually the bats will automatically attack you. But sometimes if you get lucky, they don't. Okay, so we're going to take this plug. Jumper plug. And we're just gonna, there we go. Put it there. Puzzles!
Woohoo! The lesson here is that if you come across an electrical box in the middle of an abandoned mine, absolutely start moving things around. It's fine.
As long as it's off. If you know, it won't actually let you take the jumper plugs out if it's on.
Well, that's good. They did practice health and safety.
So this enemy is called Blizzard Chaser. He is a 2-stage boss fight. The first fight is fine because you just pop an apobiosis, which stuns him, and then you one-shot him. The downside... Oh, fine, I'll take Kyle's gun. So that's when we found Kyle's gun, and now I was like, oh no, he did. This guy is the guy that's a freaking headache. Ah, darn it. Okay. I was hoping he was going to jump at me, but he decided not to. There we go. That's what I wanted him to do. Because then I can do another apobiosis, target onto him, and miss! Game, I swear. Oh, darn it.
For some... nothing, it's fine.
Okay, game. Are you just going to be rude to me today? Apparently. See, the problem with Blizzard Chaser is he's too freaking fast. And for some reason, there we go. For some reason, his hitbox is too low to the ground. So sometimes the secondary attack on the gunblade doesn't work. So what I do there, when I use the gunblade, you have the normal attack, which is just the blade. Or you have the shotgun attack, which is her secondary attack with it. if you are mid-swing with the gunblade and you hit the shotgun button, it does massive damage. Whoops. Okay. There we go. So that's what I was trying to do. Blizzard Chaser just decided he didn't want to cooperate. Alright, so I got another jumper plug. So we're going to use that there. Take this one from there and put it one up. Puzzles!
Incredible.
Yep.
Look at that power flowing.
It's over 9,000! I'm not a child, I swear.
No, it's fine, because that's also her mitochondria.
Her mitochondrial power. Yes.
Mitochondrial power, there it is.
Her mitochondria is over 9,000.
This game is actually an immediate sequel to the original Dragon Ball anime and a prequel to Fallout New Vegas because it takes place in the Mojave Desert.
Oh!
Honestly, we're writing our own lore here.
There we go. Yeah,
I want to live in this extended universe.
You really...
With this stuff?
You really don't. You really, really don't. If you're a normie, the mitochondrial power will cause you to spontaneously combust. It's a massive plot point in the first game. The first game starts with the entirety of Carnegie Hall getting set on fire and the sheer power of everybody in the audience getting spontaneously combusted.
Incredible. I want
to
be in the
retract my previous statement about living in this extended universe.
Yeah, the only reason Aya can survive is because she has super special mutated mitochondria.
I would love to be in the writer's room for this. Of just like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take them to Carnegie Hall. Like, we're gonna make everyone spontaneously combust.
Actually, good story there. The original book / the movie take place on Christmas in Japan. The first game takes place over Christmas. The third game, which isn't technically a Parasite Eve game because of reasons, third birthday, also takes place on Christmas. Weirdly enough, this one takes place in September. So this is the only one in the entire series that is not a Christmas game.
You know, what's in September? Flag Day? No, that's June. Never mind.
Labor Day?
Yes, that sounds right.
Yeah, but every year for Christmas, so around Christmas and New Year's, I always do a live stream where I play both this game or the first game and the second game. Is because in my mind they're Christmas games. Parasite Eve is a Christmas game. Parasite Eve the movie is a Christmas movie, just like Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
I do want to let you know that September 8th is National Iguana Awareness Day.
What?
So if you've never been aware of iguanas before, may I suggest that you do so on September 8th.
That is absolutely random, and I love it. All right, so we are now in the shelter, which is the hidden sciencey science complex. The way that it gets explained is it was a doomsday prepper shelter for a cult way back when, and when they abandoned it, a scientific research group moved in. And it's gonna get wild in a bit. I'm gonna hold off on telling you how it gets wild, but just keep in mind that we are deep underground in the middle of the Sierra Nevada, Mojave frickin' Desert, okay? Just keep that in mind for later.
I cannot even begin to imagine where this is going.
Don't worry about it, it'll be fine. So one thing we're going to be doing here, you can call it a bunch of different things. You can I think the technical term is maggot skip. So we're going to hug this wall in order to stop a enemy from noticing us. So the things that throw you into combat, which is when the screen goes photo negative for a second, are, hi Bowman, are when you come into contact with a creature and it sees you. So you can go right behind enemies, but as long as they don't see you, quote unquote, it won't trigger the combat. So there are many rooms in this game where if you take certain lines through the room, you can get through them without triggering combat. And each time you trigger combat, you lose a little bit of time. You use a little bit of time at the beginning of combat, and you use a little bit of time at the end of combat. Because you have to do the whole running away, you know, takes a couple BP away from the screen. But we're going to be running all the way to a very fun moment, and I'm going to have to save directly before it, so if you have any donations, now's the time.
Chat, I miss these bunnies. One of the things that I miss about the bunnies is their sweet codes. And while they're not exactly sweet codes, you know what else is sweet and does cover you up? Lady Arcader's merch. $5 from every Super Showcase t-shirt will be donated towards care. Support the charity and get a fun shirt for your collection. Type !merch into the chat for a link to our shop, or visit ladyarcaders.com/shop.
All right.
Chat, I would like to issue a challenge. At 50 minutes into this game, 50 minutes on the timer, I would like to challenge chat. Do a $5 donation train to benefit care to make the bunnies aware of iguanas. Ahead of National Iguana Awareness Day on September 8th, I believe you can do it. When that timer hits 50 minutes in 2.5 minutes, $5 donated to benefit care to make the bunnies aware of iguanas.
I like this plan.
I'm always saying it's never too early to spread awareness.
So we just jumped into a trash compactor. On my splits, I call this the Star Wars reference. So I'm going to focus here for a second because I can get one shot here. I did it. Okay. I believe so, yeah. So the reason why you can get one shot there is that enemy, no, that enemy's called Glutton, not the other one. The other one's called Burner. So Glutton can one shot you. So this is the only part of the speedrun when you're playing on replay mode specifically that is actually pretty scary because it's pretty much the only time you can die. Especially when you're using the gun blade, which is what I'm using. If you're playing safe, ultra safely, you would use the next weapon that you guys will be seeing, but it is slower because it takes about a half second longer for Aya to pick up and lower the weapon. So we're still in the trash area. I'm gonna see if I can line this up correctly. Hold on to your butts and hope he decides to do what I want him to do. Are you gonna behave? No, you're not. Glutton, why are you like this? Why do you hate me so much? Why? Yes! Okay, I did it.
Glutton for punishment.
I did it. Okay. So when he does that attack where he's like sucking in air, if Aya gets too close to his mouth at that point, it's instant kill. He eats Aya. But because it's slower to swap out to the other weapon right now, we have to wait. Or we have to get really, really close to him to hit him with the gunblade, which is dangerous. Which is why I saved there, because the last thing I wanted to do was to lose the run then. Alright, so we don't want to get blown up in this trash disposal area, so thankfully... And by thankfully, I mean, oh gosh darn it, Kyle rescued us. So
typical Kyle.
Freaking Kyle. So we're going to have Kyle with us for a little bit. This is the point. This right here is the point where so long as you save Flint, you make the decision between good ending and bad ending. Because if you leave this sewer area with Kyle, you're going to get the bad ending. Straight up. Because this is the moment where you can go back to Dryfield, which is the area with Douglas that we were in earlier, and rescue Pierce. Because if you go to the save points, which are phones, Aya, come on, there we go. Aya will call back every time you save to headquarters. And you can hear, you know, conversations happening back in your headquarters from various characters like Jody or Pierce or Rupert or your boss. All right, I'm going to focus here to make sure I hit the right things. And the thing is, you need to hear specific conversations through the phone in order to get the good ending. Specifically, things like hearing that Pierce vanished, which gives you the heads up of, hey, maybe you should go back to Dryfield. And if you don't go back to Dryfield through an underground passage here at this point in the game, Pierce is dead. Pierce dies. Because your poor boy, poor boy, he's one of my favorite characters in this game. He was so worried about Aya that he decided to get into a car, even though he's a weak little tech boy, and drive all the way to Mojave Desert to try and rescue Aya. Because he's freaking sweet. He's a sweet boy. Problem
What
is,
a champion.
Problem is, he's a little tech boy who doesn't know how to shoot a gun and doesn't know how to defend himself. He immediately gets bodied in Dryfield, and Aya has to rescue him. But because rescuing him is slow, we are instead just going to leave with Kyle. We're just going to leave with Kyle. We're just going to leave with Kyle. The problem is, the first time you play this game, you're probably going to get the bad ending. You're either going to get the bad ending or the normal ending. I can't remember if you have to save Pierce for the normal ending. But it's pretty much a done deal that you're going to get the bad ending the first playthrough. Because there is almost no way to know you need to go back to Dryfield. In fact, it's pretty obtuse to figure out the puzzle to open the door to go back to Dryfield. Which is a little annoying, but it is incentive for more, you know, gaming. And also Kyle just died. So that is the point. This elevator here, if you get this card, Kyle's dead. Or not Kyle. I wish. Pierce is dead.
I was gonna say, are we sad? Are we sad if Kyle? No.
Hey, I'm doing a lot of talking, okay? But we haven't seen a lot of the bunnies. And you know what that means, chat. Y'all need to donate some more for the bunnies. Which, we got a little bit of time because we're going to be running all the way back to another room in order to interact with a console that's going to be very important to Threach in a minute here. So I hope you've been paying attention.
I have watched the game. I am terrified.
Well, that's not ominous at all, but while Threach prepares emotionally, I guess, how about $5 from Anonymous, who is starting off the train strong, saying $5 for the Iguana Awareness Fund. The Iguana Awareness Fund does, of course, require some bunnies to be aware of the iguanas.
This is true.
I think maybe that's not quite enough. Maybe another?
Well, as luck would have it, I have $5 here from Metroid Prime, who simply says, hop hop.
Hop hop. Alright, you got any more? You got probably enough time for one. Maybe two.
Let me quickly check in on that upgrade to the Black Goat ending in Alone in the Dark. Because while we are raising awareness about iguanas, there are many, many children of the Black Goat that I am to understand waiting for us if we raise $500 by the end of that Alone in the Dark run. And we are at $330 raised, so just $170 to go. Thank you so much, everyone. Be sure to keep those donations coming in. Keep raising iguana awareness.
Okay, let's see if I can do this in one go. Because it may not look like it, but it is actually really hard to navigate this with a with the directional pad. Because it's not very it's pretty obtuse to try and navigate it. So we put in a puzzle there, or we put in a solution there in order to get through this totally virus-ridden computer. So this is your moment to shine, Threach.
No. Oh, no.
Visitors program. Please answer the following questions for verification purposes. What is the name of the desert above this facility? The Gobi Desert?
The Mojave.
Ah, there you go. Mojave Desert. Okay, question 2.
Oh my gosh, winning.
Which neomitochondria's victim caused the New York blockade incident? Melissa Pierce, Mary Pierce, or Melanie Pierce?
Melissa Pierce?
Correct. Name the town located behind the Nevada laboratory. Dry Town, Dry Valley, or Dryfield?
That's gonna be C, Dryfield. Oh my gosh.
Boom! 3 correct, visitor access granted.
Gaming! We're gaming. The second one was a complete guess. Thank you.
There you go. That was a good guess. Melissa Pierce is the opera singer from the first game that gets taken over and mutated into Eve in the beginning of the game.
I feel like I've seen that cutscene before, yeah.
It's a pretty infamous cutscene where she's like at the piano, playing the piano, and then destroys the piano. All right. Hello,
yeah,
monster.
I don't envy you. Those, the typing on the key, I was like, I know it's difficult enough to navigate with the PS1 and PS2 controller, but trying to type on very, very small squares sounds horrible.
Oh, no, absolutely. You can use the thumbstick for the first-person navigation only. Well, you can technically use it for moving it around, but it's really bad with the tank controls. You can use it on the first-person view, and you did see me use it for the jumper plug puzzle earlier, using control stick instead of the directional pad for a little bit, because it is significantly faster to use the joystick instead of the directional buttons on those first-person screens. Oops. But the downside is it's incredibly difficult to control, which makes it pretty bad to use in most of the first-person screens, like that keyboard there. It's pretty much a given that you're going to screw up the input and waste a bunch of time unless you use the directional pad. Alright, so we've met up with Kyle again for some freaking reason.
Kyle!
We don't like him. Okay. So this is me using the there we go. The much, much faster, excuse you, game. Okay. Joystick. It is significantly faster than using the D-pad. Excuse you. Did I hit the wrong thing? Oh, I did. Oops. I'm smart. No. This is what I mean by it's a little bit hard to control. And then 3. Okay, so we've turned off the security. We have turned on the lift. And we have opened a door. Very, very important for a moment here, because we are almost done with most of the first section of the shelter. Now we get to go, so remember when I mentioned, remember that we're at the Mojave Desert, and remember that we're, like, way below ground? I also should have walked there, oh well. This is where I said it's going to be important. Because we're gonna-
I can't wait.
Because we're gonna be going deeper underground. We're going way deep underground here. And the elevator,
Wow.
the elevator that I just turned on there is even deeper. Oh yeah, don't mind him. His name's Bowman. He's kind of rude.
I love him. I love him so. He's my favorite one that I've seen so far.
Yeah, we saw him a little bit earlier when I said hi, Bowman. Bowman is an optional boss. His type of enemy turns into a regular mook in a couple areas later on. You saw him just there. Okay, go down.
He's just a guy.
He's just a little dude. He's just a dude. Alrighty. I'm just skipping cutscenes here if you see a black screen. Okay, we're good. Skip this cutscene. And now, chat, welcome to Jurassic Park. I'm not even kidding. There's a giant... No bunnies for you. Okay.
Oh.
So, yeah, there's for some reason a whole freaking Jurassic Park underneath the shelter, which is underneath a mine, which is underneath the Mojave Desert. This game.
It's just layers on layers on layers.
This game. Complete with probably the most infamous pain in the ass pain puzzle in this game. Welcome to the sliding block puzzle from hell.
Oh no.
Let's see if I can remember the solution.
I believe.
Yeah, that was right. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, this is... No, one too many. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. God, now I have the Jurassic Park theme stuck in my head. Okay, we're good. Whew. So the point of that puzzle was just to get those red blocks in that specific line. That was it. You can get
So you don't have to solve the rest of it?
Yeah, you can get extra things if you solve the rest of it. Or if you solve the other colors, I should say. But that's slow.
So fast.
That's slow. We just need the one. All right, here's a monster. He's giant, and we don't like him. So what we're going to do is... This is the wrong button. This is the correct button. Welcome to a cannon. This is the hypervelocity cannon. Oh, I did it wrong. Okay. There's a specific line I need to take here, and I missed it on the first shot. Oh, I got it on the second. Cool. All right.
I remember this from Jurassic Park, yeah.
Yeah. So the explanation here is that the game is, or that the super science-y mitochondria people that are running this facility are using those monsters to power the facility. They're literally called generators. They're using their super mitochondria powers to essentially harvest electricity and energy and heat energy off of them.
Oh, that's kind of sad. That makes me like sad for those.
Yeah. And because you need to get rid of the generators or get rid of the energy so you can enter into an area later on, we need to kill them.
Well, that's just business.
That's just business. All right. God, now it's stuck in my head.
I know, big time.
All right.
I like that she's just like running around with a giant cannon, just doing her thing.
Yeah, this is called the hypervelocity cannon. This is what we're going to be holding for the rest of the game. The thing about the hypervelocity cannon is Aya uses it during the cutscenes are in-game rendered. Sadly, this game doesn't have any costume changes. I wish it did. But whatever weapon you're holding is the weapon she will pick, like she will point at people and aim at people. Because of the nature of the hypervelocity cannon, it's frequently glitching through her head during some cutscenes. Because, like, whenever she's waving her arms at a character, like, what are you doing? Waving her arms, the gun's still in her arm when she does the animation. So it just puts the hypervelocity cannon through her skull repeatedly.
That is like one of my favorite features of video games, especially when it's like a fashion game and you're just like, it's a very serious cutscene. Mm-hmm. Monster Hunter World is notorious for that, where you're just like wearing a ridiculous costume and it's just like, we're having a very serious talk right now, but let this cannon just flash through my head.
Exactly. Oh no, is he gonna hit me? No, he doesn't. Okay, cool. Yeah, and what's funny is even if you look at the hypervelocity cannon now, it's glitching through her upper arm. The thing's just too big. It's just too big. Alrighty, let's see if I'm going to get this puzzle. So this puzzle is related to figuring out some color combinations. The upside is I already know it. Red, yellow, blue. Aya, behave. White, blue. Aya, tank controls. Okay. R, Y, W, B, Y, and R. Okay. So that is just to raise a bridge for later. But it's just faster to do it now than going to the bridge, realizing the bridge is down and going, oh no, whatever will I do? Excuse you.
Want some grubs?
No. You can get through that room without getting hit. I think I've only ever managed to do it once. Alrighty. Hello, totally not a velociraptor. How are you? Don't run at me. Don't run at me. Don't run at me. Don't hit me. Okay. So there's two attacks those guys can do. They can either jump at you or they can run at you. Sometimes if your angle's not good or your line's not good and they run at you, they'll knock Aya off her feet, which is of course slow. Alrighty. So we have time for another donation or two while I'm running to the second generator.
Great. Well, I hope this is sufficient for a final boost of bunny energy while we are in the home stretch of the run. I have $5 here from Puff the Magic VJ, who says, "Have you seen this iguana? Now you have." Iguana emoji. As well as $5 from Professor Birch, who says, "Hey iguanas, did you know bunnies existed?" Wait. Thank you so much for
Seems
your
fake.
generous donations to CARE.
No, seems fake. Bunnies do in fact not exist.
I'm looking at some counterproof.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble. No, they're AI. The bunnies are AI.
Oh no. Well, you can't spell rabbit without AI.
Gasp. You know what that means?
Conspiracy.
Hello, enemy. Please
Gosh.
don't hit me. Oh, I'm taking
So
the
excited.
weirdest line through this room. Oh my god. Okay. Just for text knowledge, we are probably going to go over time a bit, especially because of my accidentally hitting the wrong thing at the beginning of the game, just so you guys know. Okay. So we've got our second enemy here. Let's see if I can get the angle correctly on this one. There we go. It's probably good. No. Come on. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to angle it to hit the furthest back thing, because you can't actually hit the generators. They will just heal themselves unless you hit the protection thing protecting the generators in the back. If you can get a certain angle with the hypervelocity cannon, you can take both out at once. And then just one more hit and it's gone. But anyway, we've taken out both generators, which means we can now go all the way back to the shelter. This game loves its backtracking. Take another elevator to come right back down to here, but in a slightly off the beaten path section to actually continue the story. So if you have more donations or any more announcements, this is going to take like a minute.
Absolutely. While we backtrack, and I know horror games and games in general love their elevators, I would just like to say a couple quick words about our amazing partner, Care. Care invests 9 out of every $10 directly in programs. Your investment not only meets immediate needs, but goes towards lasting solutions in the 110 countries and counting that Care operates in, working alongside women and girls to defeat poverty and achieve gender justice. Thank you so much to everyone who has already supported this amazing cause. We are just shy of having raised $650 for Care in our opening salvo here at Lady Arcader's Super Showcase. You have my tremendous gratitude, as well as the gratitude of the bunnies, I assume.
Maybe Garrus. I don't know. I don't know about Tally. She's kind of high strung.
Can Tally be bothered?
Yeah, Tally is always bothered, always and forever. So I have 2 chinchillas. Their names are Edward and Alphonse. Yes, they are named after exactly who you think they are.
Perfect.
They are in fact brothers, and yes, Edward is the older one. The Tally almost tried to assassinate them at one point. So for those who don't know, chinchillas can't go over about 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or they can get heat stroke, because their fur is literally too thick to live in hot places. So I have an AC unit. Tally likes spicy noodles. I'm sure you can see where this is going. There was one day in a triple digit heat wave where Tally somehow managed to get behind where I had the protection stuff for the AC cord and went, spicy noodle.
Tally, no.
All I knew is I was sitting at my computer just chilling, and then all of a sudden I hear a bzz, and she comes flying across the room.
Oh no.
And the AC shuts off. And I just look at her and she looks at me like, what's wrong, Mom? Turns out she had chewed through the AC cord.
Oh, that's brutal.
In the middle of a triple digit heat wave. Thankfully, since I know my way around electronics, I was able to fix the cord. But you got to be careful if you have bunnies about spicy noodles. And that is the moral of the story. Okay. So we're going to be fighting a giant bowman. I think this monster has an actual name, but that takes effort. All right, so no, I'm not far enough over. Come on, behave. I think I might have done that wrong. Okay. Yeah, I'm slightly off center. Yeah, I am. Okay. No, there we go. That's what I need to be hooked onto. And 1 or 2 hits. You're gonna make me only do 1. Cool. No, you're not. You're gonna make me do 2. Okay. That is the giant bowman. Sometimes you can one-shot him, but it looks like he wanted to be 2-shot today. So that little girl on the side is Eve. We're gonna go say hi to Eve. In the deepest, deepest bowels of this whole complex is the little Eve.
The Parasite Eve?
The Parasite Eve is a little girl who is a clone of Aya. She's a clone of the main character. She's only 3 years old, but she has I think they say she has the body of a 10-year-old. So she's got some, like, hyper growth stuff going on, too. Alright. So we're back with Kyle. Eve's going through some stuff. However, we just got attacked. Problem is, poison gas is filling here, and Eve is just like, I don't want to leave because my sisters are here. Her other clones and tubes. So we have to tell her to knock her stuff off, and we need to go. Now this is going to be one of the only times in the game you're going to see me actually walk. Because if you get too far from little Eve, she just stops. And this is probably the worst RNG in the game, is how quickly it takes Eve to get on this freaking thing. Thankfully, she wasn't too slow. She was a little slow, but she wasn't too slow. All right, and immediately, of course, Eve starts screaming and runs away. The game never explains to you why she does this. She just does it. She's like, oh no, bright lights, run away. which is what causes the rest of the game to happen.
The inexplicable Eve.
Yeah, I think the implicit explanation is that she's never seen sunlight before, because she spent like all 3 of her years in that little room. Which, yeah, but it's not like it's even the real sunlight, because remember, we're like a mile underground.
I was gonna ask, I was like, but that's artificial sunlight, right? Because we're under the mine, under the desert, under the, yeah. Yeah,
we are in a underground facility. We are in an underground Jurassic Park that is underneath a underground research hall, that is underneath an underground mine, that is underneath the Mojave Desert.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
Yeah, they call it Neo-Arc. Their whole explanation is that they built this whole thing to appeal to investors to invest in their research. That's the explanation for the underground Jurassic Park. So the entire...
Okay, but tell me this isn't like a Silicon Valley venture capital
for sure
brain trust thing. Like, tell me this doesn't fit that.
Oh no, it absolutely does, because these enemies that we're going across, they're called golems. The central conceit of all of the enemies that are in Neo-Arc, which is this area in the golems, is forced evolution. So Fallout, esque forced evolution virus. It's literally that sort of thing. They're like, humanity has gotten weak and soft, and we must evolve. So we're gonna inject everybody across the world with this giant freaking Evangelion mech to force all of them to evolve the way we want with these super mitochondria powers. And you're like, how about you don't do that?
But do they get in the mech?
Actually, that's kind of what triggers the final boss.
Incredible. Oh my gosh. I can't wait.
Yeah. The penultimate boss is against part of the mech. God, my lines are terrible today. Okay. So all we're doing is we're trying to get out of the shelter now. So we're just running through the shelter in a specific way, because various doors that weren't locked before are now locked. Sadly. Alright, is this guy gonna behave? Good, he is. Alright, let's see if I can make this dodge here. I make it like 75% of the time, I think. I did. Oh, darn it! Right at the end!
Oh.
Okay, if you take a specific line in that room, you can skip getting noticed. I don't want to be perceived. Being perceived is slow. Alright, now I'm going to take this room in a specific way because there's the most annoying enemy in this game is coming up. These are called knights. Oh, darn it, I got hit. Okay. Excuse you, Aya. Please don't choke me, please don't choke me, please don't choke me, please don't choke me, please don't— Ah, darn it! So this is why knights are annoying. Alright, I'm actually gonna... There we go. Yeah, I got hit again there, but I've never had a knight room that was that bad. So knights are extremely annoying because if you don't take their rooms, the rooms that they are in an extremely specific pathing that's pretty hard to pull off sometimes, they will hit you. And if they decide to hit you from behind where they do that choking animation, it's a time loss of almost 30 seconds every time it happens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's gross. And that room is usually free, but, oh, darn it. I got hit here too. This is the room that I always have a hard time with. Thankfully, we got a little bit of good RNG. It is RNG whether or not you shock the enemies. If you shock the enemies, it's, when they grab you from behind, it's unlikely that they're going to grab you a second time. But if they grab you at all, you already messed up.
It seems like the controls would make this part really difficult.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, it's green and yellow. Whoops, that was the wrong button. I think I did that wrong. I think it might have been blue and yellow. Yeah, I was right. It's blue and yellow. I remember my codes. I was looking at it, I was like, this doesn't look right. There we go.
First try.
Yeah, first try. This is totally a first try. First try, every try. So we're summoning a car here to use the car key that we got from the little car key thingy over there. And now we're going to finally use that card that we picked up in order to open the garage.
Where Pierce was dead?
Yeah, yeah, the one that killed Pierce. The ID card that murdered a man.
You know, at this point, I'd believe it.
So now that we've used the card to go as far as we can. Okay, let's see if I can... Please don't. I don't want to be 3 for 3 for getting choked. Okay, good. I managed one of the dodges. You have to take...
Nice.
You have to take each room in a very specific way in order to get the enemy to do specific attacks instead of the choking attack. At least I got one of them. At least I can keep some of my speedrunner chops. Alright, so we're going to use this so we can open up another door in order to finally get out of the shelter for all of 3 seconds. Because we're, of course, going to need to come back here. So what we're trying to do is find Eve, who just got taken away by number 9, who kidnapped her. The problem is, we think we're running after him. We're not. We're actually running in the opposite direction of where she actually is, but we don't know that yet. Alright, there's a rude guy. Don't hit me, don't hit me. Ah, darn it, I got hit. There we go. Okay, we're good. Alright, that was incredibly slow, but I managed to get through it.
Do all the enemies in this game have friendly fire? Like, if they hit another enemy with a move, will that enemy take damage?
Yes. Which is a good thing sometimes. It's only really useful in, like, I think 1 location during the speedrun. But, welcome to the U.S. military. That's what I actually call this split. It's called, oh good, the U.S. military. So when you open that big garage, Aya gets faced off by like 30 different golems, and she's like, oh, I'm about to die. And then the U.S. military comes out of nowhere and completely occupies the first level of the shelter. So they've taken out all of the enemies on the first level, so we won't actually have to worry about any fights all the way to functionally the end of the game. So if we have any donations, now's the time, because I'm just going to be running through areas that have no enemies.
Well, Chad, that means we gotta close out strong, and we are sitting on the cusp of a great many things here. We are at $340 raised out of $500 for that Black Goat ending in Alone in the Dark. We are also sitting at $640 raised. I'm seeing a lot of 40s. I know we can push that over the top as we get through this final tunnel and maybe earn ourselves one final playdate with the bunnies. To really cap out the, you know, the horror of the horror block that we're all experiencing right now, me included.
Or to say hi to the chinchillas.
Or to say hi to the chinchillas, chat.
Okay. So you have to make that phone call there in order for something else to show up later on. Thankfully, no more knights, so no more getting choked from behind. Probably my least favorite enemy in this game because it's so hard to get the lines correctly to not get choked by them in those 2 later rooms. But anyway, we're going to go in here and we're going to feel hot. So one of the things in the game is whenever Aya is in an area that has big powerhouse of the cell mitochondrial activity, it's always described as feeling hot, like your body's about to combust. So that's what happened to all those soldiers in there, sadly. Alright, don't get hit. Oh, I managed to dodge that. Okay. So, oh no, danger! Eve must be in here. We are now at the point of no return. As soon as you click that, dunzo for going anywhere else. Functionally. All right, so we're just gonna, come on, skip the cutscenes. There's like 3 cutscenes here you have to skip, so I'm just repeatedly hitting the start button. You're not actually gonna see the cutscenes if I do it correctly. There we go. So I had just got shot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, during that cutscene that happened right there, Kyle shot her.
Oh, of course. Of course it's Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle got shot there. So now we're gonna fight the big old Evangelion baby mech. Yes, it's a baby mech. It swallowed Eve. Don't worry about it. This game is weird. All right, so I'm using this. I'm gonna, oh no, it's the toilet I need to use. There we go. All right, so I knocked off its head, which is what you want to do first. There we go, it's behaving. Okay. What we want to do is this right here, where it opens up its chest. The problem is, we're just gonna go for it. So on some of the difficulties, this can be an instant kill if we don't do this correctly. But I did do it correctly because I'm awesome like that.
Nice.
All right, so what we're gonna do is select this and use it because it's slightly faster to use it from that screen than in a minute here. All right, so we're gonna do the fight against Eve. Yes, Eve, the friendly little child that we just befriended and just found and just got eaten by the baby that we just hit with the hypervelocity cannon. I'm sure she's fine.
She's probably fine.
She's fine. All right, so there's a very specific way you need to do this. You can one-shot her if you do it correctly. The problem is, I'm bad at it. All right, energy shot first. Then eau de toilette. Oh, I did it slightly too slow. If she does the right attack, you can one-shot her. But if she doesn't do the right attack, you can't one-shot her. And time. Sorry, I forgot the warning there, but that was time. So the moment you do the final hit on Eve, it's time. Yes, that is the little girl giving us a hug. I'm sure she's fine. She just dissolves from that form into her normal form. She's going to turn back into a little girl in a minute here. So we did go over time by a little bit. I got a little excited and talking, and we had that screw up in the beginning. But I'm sure you guys all had fun. And I'm sure the bunnies had fun too. Everyone say hello to the bunnies. Aren't they adorable?
They look like they had fun.
Also, Garrus has turned into a pancake. I figured I should point it out.
He's so
Majestic.
flat.
Garrus is a majestic pancake bunny. I think that they deserve some more strawberries, don't you? Let's give them some
Absolutely.
strawberries. There you go, bunnies. Have some strawberries. Alrighty. So, I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. Did you have fun, Threach?
I had so much fun. This was a joy. This game looks ridiculous, and I'm not gonna try it on my own because I'm a scared little baby. But I'd watch it again.
It's a pretty great game. So, my name is Miss Scarlet Tanager. You guys can find me over at twitch.com/Miss Scarlet Tanager. I try to stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I haven't been able to recently because of work reasons. But hopefully we're going to get back into it. Now, do we have time for me to show off at Chinchilla since we did get a fair number of donations, or do we need to go because we're over time?
Let me super quick check with production.
Okay, because I know that we're over time. I was wanting to get through it faster, but we had a little bit of hiccup there. And while we wait, I'll just... Bunnies! So, as
Please,
another...
Chinchilla.
Okay, so as a reminder, I do in fact have a dedicated bunny cam. That's why we're able to do this. I have a dedicated rabbit cam on my stream. So if you follow my Twitch, you'll be able to see them all the time. All right. Come here, little baby butts. Come here. Come on.
This is
Okay,
easily the most
one
exciting part of my day.
and 2. Alrighty. Oh, no, don't go onto my back. Do not go onto my back. Get back up here. There we go. Alrighty then. So these two adorable ones are Edward and Alphonse. They are brothers, and they are chinchillas, and they are super cute. So this is your guys' prize for donating so much for the bunnies. You guys get to also see chinchillas.
It's so fluffy.
And yes, they will just sit on my shoulder. They're very well trained. They're on my little boys.
Oh my gosh.
and they feel like clouds.
It's too much.
If you were to ever get them wet, which don't get chinchillas wet, it's bad for them because they can't dry out properly. They get about half this size. So literally half of this is fluff. Because if I just put my hand, he just sinks into them.
They are so perfect. Look at them. Oh my gosh.
See if I can get them closer to the camera.
Look at those whiskers going. They're just sniffing.
Everyone loves the chincha. And yes, they will just very comfortably sit on my shoulder. You don't get to see them as often on my streams because they don't have a dedicated webcam because I don't really have a way to put one around them. But yeah, so these are my two boys and the rabbits are my boy and my girl. So if you join me over on Twitch, you'll get to see them pretty much all the time whenever I'm streaming. So that's going to be about it. Hope you guys like Parasite Eve 2 and have fun with the next streams. They're going to be bunnyless, sadly, as far as I know, and chinchilla-less, as far as I know. But hope you guys had fun. Little bite. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. They are so confused.
Well, everyone, please send some more love to Miss Scarlet Tanager for that incredible run of chinchilla of any percent in Parasite Eve 2. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot briefly that it was the horror block with just the overwhelming amount of cuteness coming from that bunny cam and those incredible chinchillas. But with that, secure in that knowledge of comfort and cuddliness, it is actually going to be the end of my time on the mic for you all. I am going to be leaving you in the incredibly capable hands of JPEG as we turn the corner back to some more horror in Horror Block here at Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2024, so don't go anywhere.